You might have seen us with new and shiny bikes and cars, but this time around we decided to play dirty with the Ducati Scrambler 1100. You'd be forgiven to think that the Scrambler 1100 is just a reskinned 800, but that it is not, because there are some changes. Obviously, the biggest one would be the bigger engine, but we'll talk about that later. First of all, on the looks front, you'll notice that it's got a new LED headlamp, which looks really nice. They've got nice X in the middle, and you have the LED DRLs on the sides. And even at night, I found the performance to be quite good. I just feel that the headlamp could have been slightly more intense, but otherwise I rode this bike on the highway on a pitch black night and I was easily able to see what was ahead. The Ducati Scrambler 1100 Sport that we had also has a bigger physical footprint. As you can see in the chart, it is big in almost all aspects when compared to the 800cc Scrambler icon. Consecutively, it is heavier too, but still the bike does not feel too cumbersome and you get used to it fairly soon. Once you're seated on the Scrambler 1100, you'll notice that you've got a very upright seating position, but the handlebar is a little too wide, but you get used to it in no time. The foot pegs are easy to reach. Sometimes you feel that they protrude out a little too much when you keep your feet down, and the instrument panel that has been provided, it's a circular unit along with an horizontal extension, and it's a completely digital display despite it looking like a very retro instrument cluster. And the way it's been presented, well, if you like it or not, that is completely up to you. In terms of the information provided, you get your speed, 2 trip meters, your total distance covered, the range, the amount of fuel that's left, an RPM gauge, and you can also see the time along with the gear position and a few more indicators. The switches on the handlebar are also easy to use except for the hazard indicator, which can take a bit of effort to switch when you are riding especially. Also, when you're riding the bike, obviously it will produce heat, but as long as you keep moving even at 20 or 30 odd kilometers an hour, you won't feel that too much, and most of the heat is dissipated towards the back, so you only feel the heat on the underside of your calf and thighs. The seat cushion as well is quite long and can easily seat 2 people. I just wish that the cushioning was a little bit softer. This is a little hard, and when you go on long rides, it can feel a little uncomfortable. Spoiler alert, this bike is mad fun. The 1079cc L-twin engine is tuned to produce about 85 horsepower and 88 Newton meters of torque. The torque kicks in quite early at about 4750 RPM, which means that even though this bike is not really meant for off-roading, you can easily cruise as well as off-road on this bike thanks to the ample amount of ground clearance that you have on board. And you can see the shots of us just going crazy with this bike, although we do not recommend going for proper off-roading because this is not a blue-blooded off-roader, but a bit of soft-roading can easily be handled by this bike. This bike can accelerate from 0 to 100 in almost the blink of an eye, but the only problem is because there is no visor or any kind of a screen ahead to protect you from the wind blast, that can be a bit of an irritation once you cross the triple-digit speed barrier. But the Scrambler 1100 is not just a wannabe teenager that just wants to jump the gun at every given point. There are 3 riding modes: active, journey and city, and once you bring it into city, the bike can behave quite well, and I had a whole new level of appreciation for this bike because it is able to do that. Our unit came with an aftermarket exhaust that helped the twin motor produce an acceptable rumble. Though as stock you get an exhaust on either side of the bike, which at least looks great.
The slip and assist clutch provides for smooth shifts and the gears slot in nicely with ample of space between each gear to facilitate stress-free riding. Fun fact, you can see Tom Hardy speed through the city of New York on a Ducati Scrambler 1100 in the new Venom movie.
Controlling this bike at high speeds is also not a problem because you have Ducati's traction control, you have dual channel ABS, you have big 320mm dual disc brakes at the front and a 245 at the rear, and the bite from the front brakes is immensely powerful and it can bring you to a halt quite easily. The rear brake has got more progression and it takes a little more time when compared to the front one, but the front one really packs a punch. And you also have these nice fat tires, and this bike is just too much fun to throw around corners. It maintains such a great grip both on the highways and off the beaten path. I only wish that Ducati provided a bigger fuel tank with this bike, because you get a 15-litre fuel tank, and when you combine that with a fuel efficiency of around 22 to 23 kilometers per litre, you will need to refuel quite often if you are on a long journey. You can see that there are fat 45mm upside down forks at the front. These are Öhlins, and you have a monoshock right here. And the suspension setup can be tuned easily to suit your liking, but in the stock state it is quite stiff. It's decent enough to soak in the smaller cracks and bumps, but if you want to go for a proper off-road trail, or if you know that you'll be encountering a lot of bumps and speed breakers, then you might want to tune it to be slightly more plush. There is no speck of doubt in my mind about the capabilities of this engine which has been fitted into this frame. The looks and the build quality leave nothing to be desired on their respective fronts. Yes, there are a certain amount of things on the ergonomics and a few features that could be added to make this a more lucrative option for buyers out there. Just like a girlfriend, the Ducati Scrambler 1100 might have some flaws that you might not agree with, but then again, there are plenty of things that you can fall head over heels for. So this was our ride experience of the new Scrambler 1100. If you liked what we said and what we showed to you, make sure you hit like. If you have got questions, then you can comment down below, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit the bell icon to get notified when we put up a new video. Till the next time, this is Akash signing off, saying bye-bye and wishing you a safe journey whenever you go out. Bye-bye.